Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer and today I'm Gamesplaining Cerebria. If you have watched the first video, you'll have an idea of the basics of the game and the basics of the main board. The other thing that you're able to do, so what I'm doing is the personal board of each player. There are two sides of this personal board. I'm only going to explain through the side A. Side B is different on everyone's board. So I'll allow you to look at the rules because these videos are more about learning the game than getting really into the essence of everything that's available. Now, the one thing I didn't mention in the first video is when you have these cards in hand, what they do is in this book. So what each card does, there's a picture of it on the left-hand side, then all this writing about what each individual card does. There is iconography on the bottom of the cards, which theoretically you will learn and you will get your head around. But for the moment, those books are helpful. There's one for Gloom and one for Bliss. So let's run through the personal board. The first one is move. When you're moving, you'll spend one crystal to do it. You're allowed to move one space. So if it's this guy's turn, he can move to here or to here by spending one crystal. Now, before he does his action, what he can do is, out of the cards that he has in his hand, he can deliver one of those cards. Say that one. I'm not going to use that card, so that will go onto the bottom of his deck in a second. That allows him to add a token. The picture in the top left-hand corner will tell you what type of token to add, which is this one. And that will get added to whichever line he's going to do. So this can happen on any of the things. All of the elements have a -1 crystal. So if you were to put that one there, you wouldn't have to pay that crystal to do the move. You just get to do the move for free. You're only minusing one crystal. So if you've got stuff that requires you use more than one crystal, so this one looks like 3, you'll have to pay 2. If you happen to have other sections covered up and you use that, so you should spend 2 crystals to do both the things, that would minus 1 crystal only, it wouldn't minus both crystals. The other thing to be aware of is that you can do any of these actions as many times as you like, but you can only do the upgrades once. So if this is what it looked like, I might choose to do a move action. I've just added this token, which now means I can move 2 spots. So my guy can go 1, 2 to get over to the other side of the board. This additional token has allowed me to pass through that spirit. I haven't stopped where it was, but I have passed through it. What I'm not allowed to do is stop in the same spot. If I did, however, cover this spot, I could pay an additional crystal, so I've got to pay 3 crystals total there, and that would allow me to stop there. But I've only moved once, so I don't need to use that one. So I've used that to stop where I am, and I can do a thing. I could then move again and spend 2 crystals to go up the top there, for example. Next is the invoke spot. On invoke, you would have a look at the cards in your hand and you would be able to add one of these cards. Now you can only add cards adjacent to where your spirit currently is. So when your spirit is here, you can add a card into that space. When spirit is here, you can add a card here or here. Now there's already a card there, so you're not going to be able to add one, which means that going there, you could add a card to this spot. However, if you'd move your spirit to there, you'd be able to place on either of those 2 spots. So for example, I might wish to do that. When you place that spirit, you'll place one of these tokens from your board, your personal board, onto the number 1. Now, if you pay one of these, so you pay that by flipping that over, that enables you to add a second one, but this time it's going to be from the supply, assuming, of course, it's got a token on it. Or, if you have this, you can spend 4 crystals to, instead of adding a single one from your board, you can add 4 crystals to just add one from the supply alone. There is markings on the bottom of the card that tell you things that will happen either straight away or later on, and it's worthwhile looking at them, as I said, in those books to work out what they are. I'm not going to go into that at the moment because there's just far too many. Moving through, this next one is the quell action. Notice that on the blue boards, it's an orange, and on the orange boards, it's a purple. So what that's talking about is taking stuff off an opposing figure. Notice you need one of these to do the quell action, plus 2 crystals. You will need to, in order to make this happen, you'll need to reveal one of the cards from your hand. So if I've got 2 cards in my hand, I reveal that one. What we're looking for is the color of the top left corner. Those symbols are different for every person, but the colors are the same. So my guy is next to a guy with that same symbol, or same color. I have that color. There's the guy with the color. What that now allows me to do is I spend the 2 crystals and the token to remove one of those from the card. Now, if that card is down to 0, that card will then get discarded to the box. If, however, there are 2 tokens to start with, and I did that same action, I would only take one off, that card would then stay there. What I can do, if I have the ability to do so, is spend an extra 2 crystals to take a second one off the same card, and now once again the card has gone off to the box. If I have this third upgrade, what happens is I don't have to show the card from my hand. So that would enable me to take that one out, as I just did, even if I didn't have this one in my hand. In fact, if I have no cards in my hand at all, I can still take that out. Moving down to the fortify action, I can fortify only on spaces that are empty. So I couldn't fortify on that space because this spot has already been fortified. I can fortify on that space from here. From here, I could fortify in that space. From here, I can't fortify anywhere. So if this one wasn't in, having that spot there, I'd be able to choose between the 2. If my guy was up here, I would only be able to choose the 1. And what fortifying looks like, it's once again pay 3 crystals off your board to put that lower token onto the board. Now, if I've upgraded that to this one, I could also flip that over, and instead of putting a small one on, I could put a large one on. When you do this action and you add a thing, if you were to add a small one, it would add +1 to your consciousness or your ownership of that realm. If you were to add the second level one, it would add 2 to your ownership of that realm. You're only allowed to fortify on empty spaces. So if this is what the board looked like and I wanted to do my fortify action, let's say that one was covered as well, this action allows me to either remove that one altogether, or if it was a level 2 token on there, it allows me to pull that down to a level 1. That also gains me 1 extra turn by doing that. So theoretically, I could use my action, so 3 crystals, 4 crystals, plus 1 of these tokens to remove that. And then I could use my next action to do this again, but with that. So if I've got 2 of them, I could then add in my larger fortification. Okay, I think that's everything for this video. We'll go on and do a part 3. It's very, very rare for me to do a part 3, but we'll do a part 3 with the additions for that last space, which are the extended game. So please stick around, keep watching, or go on and watch my Gamesplay to get an idea of how the game plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you'd like to be Gamesplayed, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at @thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.